for like years from New Jersey. She's an entrepreneur and so many more things. And she happens to be one of Mindy's best friends. And Mindy's going to be a panelist on this Tea Time episode. So, you know, there's so much to talk to you about. But this is like a tea time. We're going to get down and dirty and really talk about what's going on in women's lives. And I want to start with you, Dolores, because Mindy has told me so much about you. And I think
not too much, don't panic.
No,
I'm an open book.
Only the good things.
Of silence.
And you know, I think it's so interesting, your career path, because you have started as a shampoo girl, a corrections officer, and it kind of came a little later when the opportunity for Real Housewives came your way. What was it like at that time to say, do I want to do this? Do I want to enter that celebrity area?
Well, I didn't at first. So, the beginning of reality shows 14 years ago, no one really knew what they were about. No one knew how production went. I had little kids. I was not really, had not been around a lot. I haven't been to Europe. I haven't met a lot of people in my life. You know, I was very much a small town, city girl, Patterson, New Jersey, which is maybe 4 miles long. But, and I had never really left. And I was not newly divorced, but new to the world. So, it was the era of The Sopranos. And New Jersey only thinks that, like me and the friends and the cast still to this day think the rest of the world talks like us, fights like us, eats like us, dresses like us. If I had gone nowhere, if we really didn't go to college, we didn't go abroad, how would you not know the rest of the world wasn't like us? So every Thursday night was girls' night, and we'd get our hair done. We'd just come to the city, maybe go to, it was the Sex and the City area, so we'd go down there, pasties, and then come back. And that was our night out. But there was a hair salon that said, geez, these producers came in, and they asked if we knew a group of girls. So we gave you their names, and they talked to us, and anyway, I remember Caroline Manzo saying, it's for a reality show that they're asking us these questions, they want to sit with us, and she goes, and I said, really? And she goes, you know they'll pick us, it's New Jersey. And I'm like, okay. So I was the single girl on the show. And first confessional, we'll start doing this thing, first confessional. They said, what do you think of so-and-so and her husband? I go, well, they're like soulmates. And then the other one is, what do you think of so-and-so and her husband? My very best friends, this group is. And they took my words and turned them around. And I got a phone call from one of them saying, did you say you were my husband's soulmate? And I went, what? You dare say this to me? And there was a quote, like, who didn't even talk to someone's husband where I come from? And I'm a young divorced girl. And there was nobody else really divorced around me. I didn't go to your house, like, and hang out with your husband. Like, I stayed away. If he came in the room, I walked out. That's just the way it was. You know, now things are more liberal, like I don't talk to people, it's okay, but back then you get beat up for it, right? So I was so offended that I got that phone call, I quit. I said, no one comes back to my house, producers, you go. And they filled my spot with someone named Danielle Staub, who just happened to be getting her hair done that day, but she didn't fit in with the crew. Yeah, so, anyway, long story short, sorry, but there's a lot to that.
No, this is great.
I stopped. And they would come back to me and they say, come on the show, you fit in, she doesn't really fit in. And I'd be like, no, who's going to jail, whose sisters don't talk, friends don't talk anymore. And I would come on as a cameo here. And then life changed events. A few years later, maybe 7 years later, I had gotten engaged, we broke up, I had been through so much. And it was time for me, I think I'm ready to do this. And the show wasn't doing well. And Jacqueline came to my house and said, why don't you try it out? And I did. And I made it.
You know, so the kids were about to go to college at
They
were a little older.
Well, the kids were a little older. Gabby was going off to college. Frankie was older now. And, you know, it was different. And I look back now and I say, had I started when they were young, would they be where they are now? Frankie's in finance, Gabby's a veterinarian. I struggled though. Through that time, I sometimes had to work 3 and 4 jobs. And they had given me very good offers to come on the show at the time. And I wouldn't do it. But it was is everything in life, for me, I feel, and I had so much more to offer coming on later anyway. I had learned so much more. And I had also learned the tricks of sometimes. So, yeah.
Well, everybody
Not
loves
years
you.
later.
I think that you're like a fan favorite, so I think whatever you're doing.
Thank you. I don't want anyone to have that, thank you. You know, I never wanted anybody to have a bad experience. I never wanted things that happened on the show to come between a friendship, and I just handled it like it's the same thing I would do in real life. Like quitting the show because I was mad because someone thought I did something I didn't. It was normal for me in my life. It just was. So, but what a ride it's been, I'll tell you that. But look,
I was going to say, so this friendship.
Look at this
So weird. I know.
How did this
people are
happen?
like,
But you know what? Can I just tell you, my friend Joe Kargman, I get the same thing, no matter who I'm with, and you know, it's not them, it's obviously me. Everyone's like, I don't get it. We love Joe Kargman. Wait, you're friends? We don't get that. Wait, Dolores? We don't get that. I don't know. Salt of the earth. The realest person, one of the realest persons I know.
Such an honor.
And one of the things, upon our first, get-togethers, we talked about deep water, Dolores and I went deep.
Oh, we
Very quickly, and this is one of the most trustworthy people in the entire planet. She knows all my secrets.
I'm a vault.
She's a vault.
With a bad memory.
Yeah.
So if you want me to
Fantastic.
repeat it, I'm probably not going to repeat it correctly. A lot of times when we film, the girls will pull up and go, so what happened, what'd you say? I'm like, and what'd she say? I don't know. I make stuff up because sometimes it doesn't make the edit. So I'm like, oh, so this is what happened. I have no idea what happened. But
Very trustworthy.
But I would take something to the grave. I would never repeat. And a lot of the ways people are saying, how are you friends with everybody on the show? And I say, I don't talk about friends to other friends. As close as we all may be in a group. My friend's business that you talk to me about is not me and somebody else's friend's business. It stays there. I know that. But it's fun to gossip, I'm not going to lie.
Well, not within your circle.
Yeah, sometimes within the circle, in that circle, two other people aren't as close as me and her would. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the problems go. Like, I recently said, you'll see, I did say it on film and I know Jina. I said, don't talk about me to your other friends because they're not my friends. Don't mention my name in mixed company. And don't take my calls in mixed company. Because I trust you. If you're my friend, I call you family. And I'm going to trust you to say something. And that's not for somebody else.
And that's healthy boundaries for
Even
friendship.
my boyfriend. When my boyfriend's getting in the car, I'm like, listen, hon, sis, Paul's getting in the car, you might want to shut up right now. Don't let him know your business. They don't tell us that. Just like, yes.
Well, in talking about the power of friendship, Mindy, I know you've spoken a lot about the mentors in your life.
Yes.
And their foreshadowing of what your life was going to be like at this time. Can you talk about Doris Leachman and all those wonderful
I would love to. And I'll apologize in advance. I will get emotional. It's been a very emotional time because I am the age now that they were when they met me. And I was in my late teens, and I did a play here in New York called Table Settings, and my grandmother was played by the legendary Eileen Hepburn, who said to me, hey kid, and she scared the shit out of me. She had yellow fingers from all the smoking, and she talked like this. And she said, hey, come here. And I'm 16, and I'm like, oh my God. And I sit on the floor of her dressing room, and she said, I've been talking to my best friends about you and they want to meet you because I think you're one of us. I'm 16, she's 70. Okay? Didn't quite know how to take it. And so the next night's performance, I go backstage and she said, my friends are here. And it was Geraldine Page, Ruth Gordon, and Elaine Stritch. And these broads took this 16-year-old Jewess from Beverly Hills and said, you're one of us. You're in the coven. And we have an LA contingency, and that included Cloris Leachman, B. Arthur, and Betty White. Right? And so for the next, Betty's the last one that went. I had lunch with all, or a few of them, twice a month, my whole life. And they were so incredible, and all of them in different over those first couple of years said, boy, your 50s and 60s career-wise, look out. I'm 16 and 17 years old and I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with myself until I'm 50? Guys, wait a minute, what? But they had all, Jerry had won her Oscar for Trip to Bountiful. She was in her 80s. Ruth, same thing. So it was encouraging. So when this news a couple years ago came down the pike of landing this incredible opportunity called Palm Royale, I had literally just lost Betty. And I don't know what you believe, light a candle, rub a Buddha. I feel like she went up there and rejoined everybody and said, let's throw this kid a bone. She did. And
Betty.
it was so incredible because I do feel this time in my life has been so fortuitous in every way, not just career-wise, but in friendships, in just who I am, in my physical health. But I think it's no accident, and what's so darling is there is a girl, literally a girl, she's 21, on the show, Kaya Gerber. And she and I have coffee dates, no joke, serendipitously, story of my life, twice a month. And I feel like I'm her Elaine, I'm her Betty, I'm her B. We talk about everything that we do. It's very, very adorable. So I loved when Jill talked about champions and mentors and all of that. And I just feel, I'm also in a career that keeps giving, if I allow it, right? My opportunities are endless. In fact, as I age, there's bigger and better opportunities. So if you wanted to be an actor, now's the time. But having said that, I also want to pass on, which was so freely and lovingly given to me. So, yeah, it's the power of women and friendship across all ages. I am a living testament to that for sure.
And Dolores, what about you with the power? You have some serious friends on the show and off. What does female friendship at this time of life mean for you?
Oh, it means everything, because you need people that are relatable to what you're going through. And I love being mentored by older women. I do, because I live by their experience. My mother is my biggest mentor. She's so smart and she's so wise. She could be psychic sometimes. And I love speaking, even if I'm getting my hair done and I see an older woman sitting there. I want to know about her life and I want to talk to her. And it's also knowing that something they went through and survived, you may be going through at the time. So just to talk to other women about it. But I think the biggest thing is to mentor younger girls like that. Look what it meant to you. Look at what it did to your life. And I had that in my life also. So it was just, I think it's really important in your life to have that.
And to share those life experiences.
It really is. And that's what I like to share on my platform. I have a lot of young girls come up to me in their 20s and 30s. And they want to ask, what do I do with a boyfriend? What do I do with my divorce? Things like that. And I just always tell them they'll be okay, no matter what. Next. That's what I say, next.
When we talk about experiences, I know, Mindy, one of your love languages is travel. And you love to experience life through travel. And as you get a little older, I think you love it more. You look forward to it, you plan it. What does travel give to you at this time of life?
Thank you for asking about that, Colleen. I mean, so I'm going to be 58 and I've never been married. So having said that, I feel very lucky. And I'm either a terminal romantic or an idiot. But I feel that when you get to this age and you still have a first, it's very exciting. Now, I want to know who the fuck he is, and tick-tock, tick-tock, you know what I mean? Like, anytime he wants to make himself known, that'd be terrific. Point being, I kept waiting to go on these trips with him. And then, he doesn't come. And so, Brent and Josh specifically, I had talked to them relentlessly about traveling, and especially being the ages that we were, let's go and have some adventures. We can go to a beach some other time. We can, walk along the shore when we're 80. I want to go climb Machu Picchu. I want to go to places where they talk a different language and we eat crazy food and, freak ourselves out. And of course, Dr. Brent, if any of you are familiar with him, he can't do anything unless it's a job. So we turned it into what was called Trip of a Lifetime, where I met my dear friend Karen Puccio. And we started going on these trips and taking Beekman 1802 fans. All right. But what that did is lit a fire under my ass. That, I have these gaggle of girlfriends. I have some wonderful guy friends that go to these fabulous places. Can Auntie Mindy be, the hanger-on? And people like the Puccios said, yeah, come on. I have to tell you, it's been the best experience of my life to travel. I recommend it for all of us. We were talking about our finances, and I don't want to make assumptions in the room. I'd rather spend money on a trip than a pair of shoes and a handbag.
I
Truly.
agree with that.
It has opened up my heart, my world, my artistry. It is my most favorite thing to do, and I feel so many of my gaggle. We were all waiting. I don't quite know for what, but we were waiting and not going. And there's a lot of fears around it, especially traveling all women or traveling by yourself. I've done it all. It's fantastic. I would like to represent a travel company and be the person to be like, come with me. I'll go. I will go anywhere.
I want to do that too. I've been thinking of doing that. I want to do that. I love a nice hotel.
Ireland.
I know.
Yeah.
But you could have went with a guy and he would have ruined it for you. I'm just saying.
I know. True that. My point is, whatever we're waiting for, and it's a different thing, right? I know a lot of us are waiting for something. I don't have time, my kids in school, all valid. Go. Plan it. Do it. It's a game changer.
Yeah.
Where have some of your favorite places been that you've gone?
I loved Iceland, so I go with my gaggle of guys. It's me and 4 gays. What else do you know? Wonder why I'm not married, as my dad would say. And I'm the only one that drives manual, so I am in a Sprinter van driving these 4 assholes around the rim, which is very funny, gay men rim, around Iceland. If I tell you we had such a kick in the pants, it was so much fun. I love everywhere. Every place I've been, I've left a little piece of myself there, and I've taken a piece of the place with me. And they're all not great, right? You can't have a great experience everywhere, but I have to tell you, I've definitely lived in the philosophy, and Gina knows this. I live where my feet are. If I'm in Iceland, I'm Icelandic. Let's go. I think they were fascinated to see a Jew. And it really could even be up to Northern California too. I love being in the car. I love road trips. Just get in your car, get on a plane, get on a bus, get on a train, grab a friend, and go.
Yeah. Tomorrow is not promised.
Yeah.
So do it. Yeah.
I know with you, Dolores, you say you actually do whatever you have to do. Don't think about it too much.
You don't.
What do you mean by that?
If I make a decision to do something, I don't think, don't make stupid mistakes. I mean, know what you're doing. But if you let something get in your head, time is wasting. So you can waste a lot of time deciding what you want to do. So just do it. Just do it. You'll never, sometimes you regret things, yeah. But I think I've regretted not doing something more than I've ever regretted doing something.
That's true. That's really important. And you've really experienced, rich and, struggling, and you've been married and single. And what advice would you give people that are kind of in the middle of that, saying, I don't know where to go next. I don't know what to do next.
I have been there. I have said, what am I going to do? What am I supposed to be doing? And I always wound up where I belonged. It's cliche and it's stupid, but it does come to you. Think about it, pray on it. Don't sit around and do nothing. Don't wait for that one thing. Do what you have to do. There were jobs I took that I didn't want to do, but I did it anyway. And through that, I wound up where I belonged. There was things even just to go somewhere. If someone asked me, oh, can you make it? I try to make everything, because you never know who you're going to meet, what you're going to do. I think everything is kind of mapped out for us. So I hate to miss an opportunity.
That's amazing. And I want to ask Mindy, obviously we are doing this together, this event. Why is this event so important to you? Why was it important to get people into these conversations?
Well, I've always been that friend that talked about everything. I thank Nat and Ina Cohn, my parents. We were very open in my family. Nothing gross. I mean, my mom is horrified that I say fucking shit, but you know, she knows her kid at this point. I was always the friend who could talk about sex before, you know, you didn't want to talk, and money. I talked to a lot of my friends about money and financial planning when they were embarrassed, what they didn't know, or thought it was, you know, gauche to talk about money. But I didn't talk about money in a way that's like, what do you want and how do you want to get there? You know, and I've always been that kind of plain talker. And what I realized is that this gift that these women gave me and that I have with my gaggle of friends, they weren't part of these bigger conversations that I would see about women my age. These misunderstandings that were told to me of just like, well, just skulk back in the corner. Oh, you're gonna go gray, you're gonna be invisible. All these kind of like compliments, but not really. You know, these kind of like side marks about, oh, your kids are gone, what are you gonna do with yourself? You know, and I was having a totally different experience. And I just thought, I mean, I'm special, but I'm not that special. You know what I mean? I thought, we all must be feeling these things, and no one is talking about that. And again, I just, you know, all for the gays, fag hag that I am, if you don't have gay friends, there's a purpose for them. You know, especially Brent and Josh, we share everything about our lives together, and I've learned that everybody, no matter how successful you are or what you want to do, has fear, has doubt, has anxiety. You are not unique. It's not original. You may walk through it in a different way, but we are all having it. And so to think that you are alone, and I found so many of my women friends feeling very isolated and alone, embarrassed about that they were feeling something stupid, lost. And my heart broke. My heart breaks when I hear women like that. This is truly, if this is not the best time of your life, truly, if this is not the best time of your life right now, you are doing something wrong. Grab the person next to you and get a phone number. This should be the best time of our lives. I mean it.
What do you think about that, Doris?
I agree for so many reasons. All the lessons, people say, oh, to be young again, I don't want to be, I want to look it. I don't want to go through the heartaches. I don't want to go through the mistakes. I don't want to go through the backstabbing of friends that I didn't see through. I don't want to go through all the experience that brought me here, but I want the knowledge of it. And now, moving forward, I could use all that, and life is so much better. Who would have thought in your 50s? What did they say today? In your 60s, it's amazing because you're just accepting everything. I'm looking forward to 60. I dreaded 50. Now I'm looking forward to 60 after today. The truth. Yeah.
And talking about sharing experiences, I'm curious on the show, what do you decide to share and what do you decide to keep personal?
My show? We're under contract to share everything. Yeah, like, I didn't want to bring Paul on the show right away. I didn't know if this was going to work out, but I got a call. What are you doing? Is he willing to film? Because if he's not, you know. So there's a lot of things, and
I'm thinking about Mom with her.
oh yeah, with her heart, my mother and her, my family's very private, you know, they don't know from this, they don't even know. They're like, so my mother, like I had to talk, I find out about my mother needs a quadruple bypass on the show, like, and then it's hard to be emotional on the show because I'm embarrassed if I cry. Like these are things that, it's just hard to be such an open book. And now my show's getting a little bit rough around the edges with bringing things outside of the show in. Everything has to be everything. So I know what I signed up for.
Right, but how has that changed the trajectory of your life in a way that maybe you hadn't planned for it? Because we all kind of have this image of, you know, especially as you're older and your kids are getting older, I'm going to slow down a little bit. Instead, you took on a show that's very visible and is sharing a lot of parts of your life that maybe you were prepared to show. How has that changed your life?
Well, it's made me more open to my own emotions. Like, I'm more vulnerable now. I would hide everything before that. Like, I didn't even talk to my friends about certain things. I was very internal. I didn't share things with people Because then, and it's kind of like cultural and bringing up the way I was brought up. Like you can't keep it to yourself. You don't talk about your emotions. You know, don't cry. I'll give you a reason to cry. Like these are all things that I was raised with. Like don't tell your friends your business. Well, then how do you really become close with someone if you're not sharing how you feel about things? So I had to learn to accept that it's okay to share things, and if it gets out there, so what? So what? So that's how my life has changed. I've had to change the way I looked, everything I was raised to be like, the way I looked at things. You know, my mother used to say, don't say anything over the phone you wouldn't scream in front of City Hall. Don't put anything in writing. Okay. What am I gonna, don't answer the phone, you don't know who it is. Okay. It just was so, everything was so tight. They wouldn't even share things with their own sisters. Everything had to stay in the house. So it feels good, actually, to share things. It is. So I don't mind it. I'm looking for, this is something new. A lot of all these things that I'm doing on the show is also new to me. Going with a group of friends, it's like I call it a sorority. That's my sorority.
When you try new things, and this can really go to both of you, how do you feel afterwards? What's the energy level? Because always getting out of our comfort zone makes us grow. But as we get older, it's not, you know, it's a little more challenging to get out of your comfort zone because you're just so comfortable in that comfort zone. So when you do that, when you share maybe a little more than you thought you would, or maybe you go somewhere that's you never thought you would step foot in, what do you get from that?
Accomplishment. I feel accomplished.
I just fall madly in love with myself. I mean, I love to dance. I look in the mirror and I channel like the hippo from Fantasia. But inside, I'm a prima ballerina. So I don't dance in front of mirrors. Right? No one needs to see the flap and the jumping up and down. Like, who, you know, what was I doing? I love dancing. So Mary and I crank the music when we're together and we dance. And I am always dancing. Things that scare me, I decided to jump out of a plane, and only until a tandem, but only that the door comes open and we're going like this, and I turned to my friend who I went in the plane with, and I went, I've never done this before! I mean, it just didn't dawn on me. So sometimes I just, maybe some of you can relate, I'm really good at disassociating. So I just kind of go out of my body for a second and do the do, and then get back in my body.
That's how you do it, yeah.
Get back in my body. Go.
It's a little tool to get out of your comfort zone. That's the tool, yeah.
Yes, and also not to let anything you enjoy, if you're not good at it or you don't look pretty doing it,
stop caring what other people think. That's the first one.
Yeah.
I think a lot of women do, especially as we start to get older and all of our friends are like, well, they just had this and they, how do you not compare yourself to other women?
Yeah. I don't compare myself. Like, I know my place, so I know I'm not the prettier, the taller, the smarter, the thing. I like, you know, who I am, so I never compare. I don't look at it that way. I'm happy for what somebody has. I say, but that's not for me, you know?
See, that's a true friend.
Yeah, that's
someone
just,
who's happy
it's
for
not
someone
like me.
else.
That's good. I don't want to be in the middle, although I am this season in the picture.
Yes,
I don't want to, I'm okay. I don't have to be the next person on the couch. If I'm at the end of the couch, I'm good. I'm happy. Wherever I land, I'm happy.
And to answer your question, this lovely lady in pink who asked me earlier, how did I get so comfortable in my skin? Serendipity. Born to Ina and Nat Cohn, who I felt like the bee's knees around, who I still do. Serendipity, getting on a show and being discovered by the great Norman Lear, God rest his soul, who said, I don't know what you got, kid, but you got something, we're gonna write a part for you. Being embraced by girls who had done a Pampers commercial, and I really felt less than, but they told me, no, you belong here. Getting an opportunity at 16, meeting Eileen and this gaggle of incredible women who said, I don't know what you have, but you're one of us. All these things along the way have made me feel, and look, I got the fat jokes, I wasn't the prettiest, I didn't get the, you know, hot boyfriend at first. But then I did. Quiet. And all of that has led to, also again, not a peaker in high high school. I wasn't the blonde, blue-eyed who, looked in my 20s and went, yikes, what am I gonna do? I had a mom who got more adorable and more gorgeous as she got older, and my dad, who is still a very handsome fellow, picked her. And so I had this confidence, imbued by them, but the world kind of gave it back to me. You're very unique. You're not going to get all the embarrassment of riches that you want, but you definitely are going to get what's for you, and it's pretty fucking good.
I love it. We're coming towards the end, but I'd like to get at least like maybe 2 or 3 questions from the audience. Does anybody have any questions? Or maybe not. May 5th. Yes. Mark your calendars, May 5th, Real Housewives of New Jersey. Is there somebody over there?
I just have the microphone in case anybody wants.
Oh, that's my friend, the amazing actress Dorothy Lyman.
Mindy and I met doing an autograph signing, and she came up to my table and said, I really want to meet you. And I was so touched by that, Mindy, and we've become terribly good friends. You really have a talent for friendship.
Picking great people.
For friendship.
Yes.
Well, Mindy, why don't you talk a little bit about Palm Royale and what that experience, because you have talked about auditioning when we last chatted about how you love auditioning. You feel like that's a part of your job. Some women hate at this stage to go and have to audition for a role, but you feel a privilege to do that.
My friend Eve and I talk about that all the time. We don't get a lot of opportunity to do what we love to do, and audition is an opportunity. It's not a paid opportunity. But my job in audition is to give it away. Give what I have and show what I've got. I'm either their flavor or I'm not. I have the temperament for this business of what I do because I don't take it personally. I mean, if it's not me, again, not being a blonde, blue-eyed, gorgeous looker, right? It's either me or somebody else. Usually Joan Cusack or Mayor Whittingham, and we love each other. But you know what I'm saying? I can't, I'm just not meant for that thing. And I love, again, one of the pearls that Dolores gave me was, the answer's already in the envelope for almost everything. We were talking about jobs, but we then started to talk about people, places, things. The answer's in the envelope. There is nothing you could do to make something happen if it isn't for you, and there's nothing you can do to fuck it up if it is meant for you. Isn't that a relief? So don't be nervous. Walk in with confidence. Give yourself over. And so, yes, Palm Royale was some of this.
How is this I mean, it's just such a beautiful gift.
It's so nuts. It's so nuts. I mean, first of all, I met Carol Burnett 40 years ago. She was my carpool mom. I went to a private girls' school, and her daughter was in my class. So that's how I first met Carol.
91. I
Turned
couldn't
91
the other day.
I know, very cute. To not only get to work, but then to work with this kind of caliber of actor. And again, it's what these ladies said, but you're ready for that now. Wow. And I was nervous as hell. I mean, especially meeting Allison Janney. She was on my top list of 5 actors I always wanted to work with. And I remember Kristen picked me up from my trailer, and we were walking to set, and I turned to her, and I just had Insta-Well, and she goes, don't ruin your makeup, don't ruin your makeup. And I said, I am going to meet Allison Janney, and this was a scene where we're in a sauna, so I'm in a towel, okay? So I'm not only going to meet Allison Janney, I'm going to go with a crew of 100 men, mostly men, in a towel, and try and be like adorable, whatever. And I didn't want to go out of my body. It makes me cry. I wanted to be in my body to meet her. And I remember Kristen's like, I got you, sis. And we walked in, we took our places, and Allison was off stage, and I heard her voice. And I turned to Kristen, and she looked at me like, don't cry. You're fine. You belong here. Everything in her. And Allison came in and said her first line and said, hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Can we stop? And walked over to me and hugged me and said, I've wanted to work with you for so long. It's been an embarrassment of riches in every way. Gig worth waiting for sure.
We'll lead to the next, which will lead to the next,
yes.
Because you're just getting started.
Well, my next gig, I'm in Jill Kargman's movie. Filming in New York City in June.
Dolores, and thank you, Mindy.
Thank you.
They